Dear student, today we are going to start one of the important chapters, that is the EMI, electromagnetic induction. Now, this electromagnetic induction, this concept was developed by the scientist Faraday first. Hence, let us see the Faraday's experiment on electromagnetic induction. Now, let us consider a coil and a magnet. When a magnet is moving toward the coil, what will happen? There is a change in magnetic flux linked to the coil, and the change in magnetic flux linked to the coil produces the induced EMF in the coil, and therefore induced EMF and produces the induced current, and show that the galvanometer shows the deflection. And again, suppose that the bar magnet is moving away from the coil. Again, the induced EMF is generated here, but in opposite direction. And therefore, when the magnet is moving toward the coil, and when the magnet is moving away from the coil, the induced EMF generated in opposite direction. And therefore, the magnitude of induced EMF generated depends upon the speed of the magnet. As the speed of the magnet moves rapidly, when the magnet moves rapidly more away or toward the coil, there is a rate of change of magnetic flux goes on increasing, and therefore the magnitude of induced EMF goes on increasing. And this is the one of the Faraday's experiment. And from this we can build up the definition. What is the definition? The production of induced EMF in the coil due to the change in magnetic flux linked with the coil, and that is called as, that phenomenon is called as electromagnetic induction. The induced EMF in the coil is called as the induced EMF, and the current is called as the induced current. And therefore same effect is also produced by the two coils, primary coil and secondary coil. We are facing in plane towards each other. When the current in the primary coil go on changing by changing the rheostat, therefore there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the coil in secondary coil, and this change in magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil produces the induced EMF, and which produces the induced current, and so that the galvanometer shows the deflection. And therefore same effect is produced by this primary and secondary coil. And from this we came to the conclusion that whenever there is a relative motion, and therefore the magnitude of induced EMF depends on the relative motion between the magnet and the coil, and therefore the magnitude of induced EMF depends on the speed of the relative speed of bar magnet and induced coil. And from this we can have the definition of EMI, and therefore from this the Faraday developed the two laws. Now Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law. What is the Faraday's first law? Whenever there is a change in magnetic flux linked with the coil due to the motion of the bar magnet, and the induced EMF is generated in the coil, this is the Faraday's first law. Now what is the Faraday's second law? The magnitude of induced EMF, that is E, in the coil is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux, that is d phi by dt. Is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux, and therefore E proportional to d phi by dt. And the Faraday's first law is the quantitative law. It gives only the characteristics of induced EMF. And the Faraday's second law is the quantitative law. Why? Because it gives the magnitude of induced EMF in the coil. And therefore, according to second law, we have the phi, the magnetic flux linked with the coil, and therefore E proportional to d phi by dt, the rate of change of magnetic flux. Phi the magnetic flux, and therefore E is equal to some constant k into d phi by dt, where k is the constant of proportionality, and from this E is equal to n times d phi, where phi is equal to n times, if the coil has n number of turns, phi is equal to n into phi. And putting this value where n is constant, therefore E is equal to n times d phi by dt, and where E is the induced EMF, which is measured in volts, and d phi by dt is measured in Weber per second, because the unit of magnetic flux is Weber, and therefore this is the mathematical statement, that is E is equal to d phi by dt, is the mathematical statement of Faraday's second law. Now let us see what is the Lane law. But this Faraday's law does not describe, it gives only magnitude, but the direction of induced EMF is not given by the Faraday, and hence this law is extended by the Lane, and the correction is suggested by the Lane, and it is called as the Lane law. Then what is the Lane law? The direction of induced EMF in the coil such that which opposes the rate of change of magnetic flux. The direction of induced EMF in coil such that which opposes the rate of change of, that is d phi by dt, and hence we can write here E is equal to d phi minus d phi by dt, because E and d phi by dt are in opposite direction, and this specified negative sign indicate that the induced EMF opposes the rate of change of magnetic flux, and that is nothing but the Lane's law. Now let us see some application of Lane's law. Now explanation of Lane's law, that is first the motion of the magnet in a for a circular loop. Let us consider a circular loop. This is a circular loop, and so that and the magnet is placed near the circular loop. When the magnet is moving toward the coil, toward the axis of the coil, what will happen? There is a change in magnetic flux linked with the circular loop, and the change in magnetic flux linked with the loop produces the induced EMF in the coil, and so that this induced EMF is generated in such a way that a dipole is produced here, and the dipole is produced in such a way that the end pole is developed toward the end pole of the magnet, and so that this end pole repels this end pole, and which repel the motion, which repel the motion of the bar magnet. That is, this induced EMF generated in the coil opposes the motion of the bar magnet, and that is E is equal to minus d phi by dt. This is the explanation of Lane's law. Suppose that when the bar magnet is moving away from the coil, receding, when it is moving receding, here what will happen? Again, when it is moving away from the coil, again the magnetic flux is generated, rate of change of magnetic flux, and this magnetic flux produces the induced EMF in the coil, and so that the dipole is again produced. The dipole is oriented in such that the S pole is developed toward the N pole of the moving magnet, and so that this N pole does attract this S pole of the moving magnet, and this again attract the magnet and opposes the motion of the bar magnet. That is, the induced EMF just opposes the rate of change of magnetic flux. This is the explanation of Lane's law. Now the next concept is one of the important concepts here, the conservation of energy conservation. In Lane's law, we know that the magnitude of induced EMF generated in the coil depends on the motion of the relative motion of the bar magnet and the coil. As the relative speed increases, the rate of change of magnetic flux increases. Now hence, when a bar magnet is moving toward the coil, a force is acting on the conductor, and which opposes the motion of the coil, and so that a force just opposes the motion, so that which related to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with this coil, and therefore this rate of change of magnetic flux opposes the induced EMF in the coil, and so that the moving circular loop is in stationary position, and when it is stationary, the induced EMF is generated in stationary coil, which produces the rate of change of magnetic flux, which related to the coil increases infinitely, and the infinite growth of rate of change of magnetic flux, and which produces the induced EMF, the current flowing through it for a larger time, and so that when the current flows through the circular coil in larger time, which causes the Joule's heating, and so that excessive heating is produced here, means that the electrical energy is converted into heat energy. In this way, the electrical energy is induced current flows through the finite produces the Joule's heating law, and so that the electrical energy converted into heat energy, and this is the law of conservation of energy in Lane's law. Now let us see the next topic, one of the important. Let us see the related. What is the comparison of Faraday's law law and Lenz law. Now, we know the character E is equal to d phi by dt, but the magnetic flux linked with the coil, that is phi, is equal to the scalar product of B into A, where A is the area of the coil and B is the magnetic field produced in the coil. Therefore, phi is equal to B into A. Putting this value here, E is equal to d dt of B vector dot A vector, and that is equal to, since A, the area vector of the coil is constant, that is A vector into dB vector by, and by considering the proper sign, negative sign, here E is equal to minus A into dB vector by, and therefore this is the Faraday's law with a proper sign convention, and therefore, but here there is a rate of change of magnetic flux, because A is constant, but magnetic flux changes increases with time, hence we have dB by dt, and therefore this is the Faraday's law with the proper negative sign, and therefore what is the Lenz law? E is equal to minus d phi by dt. By considering this negative sign, that is the induced EMF produced in the coil such that which opposes the rate of change of magnetic flux, which is given by the negative sign, and that is the mathematical statement of Lenz law. This is the Faraday's law and Lenz law. E is equal to d phi by dt without proper sign convention. This is the Faraday's law, and the sign convention is given by the Lenz, and that is the Lenz law. This is the proper difference between them. Now let us see what is meant by magnetic flux. Now let us consider a closed surface. This is the closed surface S, and let us consider a very small area vector dA of a closed surface, and that closed surface is placed in magnetic field, and this closed surface is perpendicular to the plane of the figure in the direction of magnetic field, and therefore the magnetic flux which is linked to the coil area vector is given by d phi is equal to B vector into dA vector, where A is the area vector. Now let us consider a small element which having area dA, but this magnetic field B is not same everywhere, hence we are considering the small element here, and therefore the total magnetic flux for a finite surface is given by phi is equal to integration of d phi, that is total over a closed surface S. Now putting this value here, and therefore the magnetic flux linked with this closed surface is integration of B vector into dA vector. But since magnetic field is not constant, it changes with the time, and this is, hence we can write the phi of t is equal to integration of over a closed surface S. B is the function of time, because it is increases, changes with the time, into dot dA vector, and hence using that the induced EMF generated E is equal to minus d phi by dt in the coil, and which is given by is equal to minus into d dt of integration of B vector bt vector dot A vector. Now this is the induced EMF generated in a closed surface, a closed finite surface is E, and this is the magnetic flux, and this will be the induced EMF. Now if you like my video, subscribe it and click on the like button. Thank you.